Bust out the charcoal and fire up the Weber Mick.
Fucking oath.
I think we're about to grill ourselves some Johnnie Walker Double Black.
Look, I suppose my words, Hursty. Use your words. I reckon you're probably right, Rick. I don't have very high expectations of this particular bottle.
No pun intended, but bottom of the barrel is where I'm going to start.
Yeah, exactly right. We don't do a lot of blends, but this is a wee dram, and we thought we'd choose a dram that would be the most like a whiskey that we enjoy.
Yeah, that's our first impression.
It is. We haven't tried it before.
So get it on camera.
Exactly right. Now, in saying that, I will put up my hand. The Johnnie Walker Black Label 12 Year is my go-to whiskey and Coke.
Okay, I've never tried it. I wouldn't mind sampling it neat, but that sounds like the best way to have it.
I don't think I may have drunk it neat when I'm drunk, because by the time I get to a Scotch and Coke, I've already had a few. But I've never had it on the rocks or neat. I've only ever had it with Coke. But it is the smokiest blend I've come across. But I don't drink a lot of blends.
Yeah, I can't say any blend that I've ever had I would consider smoky.
No.
Except for that time that you mixed Ardbeg and something else. Was it 2 types of Ardbeg?
It was.
In that decanter?
I had in the decanter, I had the Ardbeg 10 and the arse end of a bottle of Ardbeg Grooves. Okay. Which is ex-red wine cask, which is probably worth... it might be worth maybe an episode, but it was a delightful mix. The 10-year-old and the no age statement. It did, but yeah. Tell us a little bit about Johnnie Walker Double Black, Rick.
Oh well, a goth walked into a grocery store in 1909 and saw a bottle of Johnnie Walker Black on the shelf.
Got me blacker.
That's exactly what he said. And 100 years later, they introduced JW Johnny Black. That was in 2010. It reached the rest of the world in 2011. And as we've alluded to, it has that extra Isla smoky character from Kailila, did you say?
I think it's Kailila, with a bit of Lagavulin and Talisker, from what I read.
Is Talisker remotely smoky?
I don't think you would consider... It's not a peated whiskey, but I do... there is... I think they char their barrels. Now, don't quote me on that. I haven't... but
so it's that sort of
there's
smoke.
A bit of a char.
It's the char rather than peat.
Yep. Okay. But I think the heart of the Johnnie Walker 12-year-old is Cardew, and I would be surprised if it wasn't the heart of this as well.
Okay. Well, it is claimed that it comes from predominantly heavily charred sherry casks.
Yeah, okay.
And happened to pick up a double gold at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition in 2020.
Fuck, they'll give awards to anyone, that mob, won't they? They legit will.
Nice. That's pretty much it for the whiskey itself, I think.
And if you want to know a little bit more about Johnnie Walker, you can go back to... what number of episode is it, Rick?
Episode 11, we gave the blue the treatment.
We did. In our Battle of the Blends. So you can pick up all your history there. Today, it's just a wee dram, and it's all about the whiskey, isn't it?
It's about getting straight into it.
So let's not fuck around.
It is a very nice colour, though.
It is a really nice colour, you're right. It's a kind of burnished, bronzy gold, isn't it? I don't know how it could be burnished. Yeah, burnished means brightened, polished. So I'm not sure if I've got that right. Let's call it...
It's a pretty intense gold.
Yeah, it's a nice deep colour for a whiskey. Probably coming from the more heavily charred barrels, and there might be that little bit of the influence if they're heavily charged ex-sherry. There might be a little bit of an influence from the sherry.
As you said that, I do get the sherry on the nose.
It's got a reasonable robe for a blend.
It does look pretty viscous, actually. It's taken a while for it to fall, for the drapes to come down.
Yeah, you're right. There is a hint of sherry in that, isn't there?
I'm getting more sherry than I am peat.
Yeah, for a heavily peaty, or for something that they say is there to celebrate the peat, it's not as smoky as I expected on the nose.
No.
Now, I had read some, I suppose, amateur reviews on a couple of different websites just to see what the take was and how well the whiskey's received. It seems to be very well received, but the most common criticism of it was that it was too smoky. So I'm assuming that they're people that drink a lot of Spays or Highlands.
There might be people that prefer the black.
Exactly, and the black does have a smoky element to it, which is why it's my go-to whiskey and Coke, because there is some small amount
and
of
it's also,
peat to it.
Oh, next to the green, it's their oldest age statement.
Exactly.
Actually, a friend asked me for my opinion on green the other day. I have never tried it. I'd be interested though. I'll try anything.
Is the green there rye?
No, it's 15.
Yeah, right. Okay.
15-year-old.
Because they did have a rye for a while, but again, I'm not
I
up
think
enough.
Jim Beam green is the rye.
Okay, now that makes sense.
Which is easily confused.
That makes sense. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, she's a little confused on the nose, I think.
I get the char more than the peat. But that sherry's kind of nice though.
It is, but I think
there's like apple stew maybe. Deep apple stew with cinnamon, maybe more apple pie.
But yeah, there's a slightly, it's reminding him of a Highland with that slightly rank note to it, which I still haven't worked out what it is.
Could well be sulphur.
Could be. Yeah, the char is probably predominant.
It really is, isn't it? Like, it's heavily charcoaled.
Not much wood coming through at all. And you're right, if there's fruits in it, it's stewed fruits. It's not particularly fresh. Smells bottom heavy as well. I think it's tea or leather that I'm getting from that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Tell you what, mate, actually, I don't want to say nothing until you've...
Yeah, that's fair.
Until you've experienced the palate. Now that you have, it is like being punched in the tongue.
Oh, she's rough, isn't she?
Yeah, she is rough as guts.
Real heavy on the sting.
Yep. And then once you nose again, there's fucking pure acetone.
Oh, yeah, there is a real acetone. It's sharp on the nose, whereas with peat, I expect maybe some of that medicinal, Dettol, some of that lanolin, but they're deep. They're not sharp with a peaty whiskey. There's not a lot of peat on the palate either.
There isn't really, man. I think that when they say smokier, they must be referring to the char.
Yeah, it has to be, because it's char heavy, which, there's not a lot.
There's some menthol-y kind of thing happening on the finish that maybe could be attributed to the peat.
Yeah, menthol's right.
And on the nose too now. Jeez, this is fucking brutal.
Yeah, there's not a lot of positive I can say about this.
Yeah, it's a in comparison to the blue, how we said the blue was, I said the blue was very thin, watery, confused.
Yep.
Sort of, it was all soprano and tenor maybe. There was no bass. There was no sort of that mid-high. There was nothing there. It was very thin. This has a similar thing going on with a little bit more meat in the tenor range.
Correct.
Maybe owing to that char. It has a bit more body, but it's nowhere near as smooth as a blue was. And it's not as watery. It's not as thin. But they've got a lot of similarities apart from that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would probably still have the black label with Coke. I don't think I would be tempted to change. I'm sure this is more expensive than the black label.
No, it's not.
Oh,
because it's no age statement.
Yeah, right. I still would have expected them to market it at a slightly higher price point. But then again, my expectations are quite often wrong.
At only 40% too, man, she's going down real rough. Every time I swallow it feels like swallowing a cube.
Yeah, there's a lot of angles to it. Mm-hmm. There's very few rounded edges on this.
Yeah.
I can't even call it a bad boy because, I say that with positive.
Yeah, with a bit of love.
Yeah, positive inflection.
Backhanded compliment.
No, this is unimpressive, is the kindest thing I can say about it. And yes, I'm a purist. I love single malt, and I can be a bit of a wanker about it, but I don't see a lot of value in purchasing this whiskey. Certainly not to add to your collection, because you can get it fucking anywhere.
Yeah. And this is a drinking whiskey. This is something that, I'm going to take this to the next party, and next time we're all fucking pissed as, I might bust it out. If anyone wants a whiskey, give it to the people that I don't really like, that don't know shit about whiskey.
I will be really fucking upset if you offer me one of these at the next party we're at, just quietly.
I'm just going to give it away to get rid of it, I think.
It's not something I'd introduce. I certainly wouldn't give it to someone that I was trying to introduce to whiskey. I think this goes the wrong
I'm giving
direction.
This away to shoot, pretty much.
Yeah, maybe shots. I mean, this is probably... We should have probably had a little bit of Coke just to see...
I could bust out the soda stream, save what's left, and I'll bust out the soda stream.
Because I think this whiskey would improve infinitely with a dash of Coke.
Yeah.
This is a black tooth whiskey.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Good call.
Yeah, shot of whiskey, shot of cola, black tooth. Smile, black tooth grin.
Smile with the black tooth grin.
I don't know if water's going to improve it, but fuck, it's going to get some water because I need to find out if this will improve.
I really want to get rid of those angles.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe it will improve with a bit of water.
Apparently word on the street is this pairs with pork.
Oh, I think pork deserves a bit more respect than that. Fuck, I like pig.
Yeah. I don't eat much pork, so I wouldn't know.
No, I usually only put 2 to 4 drops.
I went for at least 7.
Same.
It's really taken the edge off the nose.
Funnily enough, the water seems to have improved the robe, which I always find weird.
Oh, dude. That's done it wonders.
All right, there's a little bit more on the nose with the water. There's some sweetness coming through. That's probably from the heavily charred sherry cask influence. Honestly, all they've done is fuck up all the single malts that have gone in here. I mean, you could go one by one through those 40 single malts and have a much fucking better time. Why the fuck did they put them all together and create this?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, they're marketing. And again, I know I'm a purist, and I don't think Diageo are ever going to offer to sponsor the podcast because we tend to fucking destroy their whiskies.
They tend to destroy most things they touch.
That's correct. They destroy their whiskies. We just comment on it.
That's actually half decent with a fair few drops in it. It needs water. This needs water to be remotely drinkable.
I haven't found the sweet spot yet. You're right. There's a lot more happening.
Like on the finish now, I'm starting to get a bit of throat burn.
There is.
It was hard to.
It was tongue burn.
Hard to swallow, and it was tongue burn. And now on the finish, like it's going past the throat smooth, but it's sitting right. Yeah. Tracheal fucking heat.
I think you're being generous by using the word smooth in any way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Than it was. Yeah.
It's less rough.
Less rough. So yeah, think of the water as sandpaper. But it's a pretty high grit sandpaper.
So I've just doubled the amount of whiskey the amount of water that I put in here. Now the robe is fucking non-existent. So I may have overwatered it, but...
Nah, I don't know if you can.
I don't know if you could either.
It's probably go better like cordial if you... Or Kool-Aid or whatever country you're from. Grape drink.
No matter
sugar, water, purple.
No matter what you do, it's very single-dimensional on the nose. Now, that could be a reference to my inability to find words to describe things sometimes, but...
No. Malt, charcoal, and disappointment.
Yeah, you've nailed that. It reeks of disappointment. No, I can't find a sweet spot on this. It improves with water, absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, fuck. Even though it's improved, it still really needs a dash of Coke. It really does. This is a mix and winky.
Don't mix winkies, dude. That's
never cross streams. This is a mixing whiskey. This is a whiskey to have with Coke. 100%. This is. I mean, fuck me. I've never had Teachers neat, and I won't ever. But this could be up there with Ballantine's or Teachers or White Heather. Any kind of $30 bottle, I think.
Well, I did pick this up for 50.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a bit sour about it.
But... Oh, you paid overs. I mean, you probably got a good price. They probably sell it for more than 50, but
some places would.
In all honesty, kids,
this is one to skip unless you are a mixer.
But I mean, we will probably have to do a comparison now with the 12-year-old, because I like the 12-year-old with Coke. I don't even think I'd like this with Coke. You're better off sticking with the 12-year-old. It's way smoother.
Drinks anyway. So.
I now really
fucking
want
temple.
Mine.
Yours is a filter.
It is. Yeah, it filters out all the bad shit and processes and wastes the good shit. But my body is the opposite of a temple. I don't know what the opposite of a temple is, but it is the opposite.
Tar pit.
Still generous. I think. My body is a wasteland, and this deserves to be the wasteland. It's just, you'll get a lot more out of the 12-year-old, in my opinion. This desperately needs Coca-Cola. Well, it definitely needs cola. Your choice of cola. You don't have to necessarily drink Coke. They don't sponsor us either.
No, I'm going to bleep that.
Superb. And superb is not a word I can use to describe this whiskey. Oh. I'm sorry, Johnnie Walker, you've missed the mark in a big way with this. Big way.
So I wonder if the Rev's given this a rating. I'll grab the Bible. Or maybe you should grab the Bible. It's easy to get to on your side. But in the meantime, I'll say something about the Johnnie Walker experience on Princes Street in Edinburgh that was meant to open late last year, but didn't on the account of the COVIDs. Delayed by at least 3 months, is set to open now in the Northern Hemisphere's summer. So that could be as late as August. Which is a bit unfortunate. I'd still go to the Johnnie Walker experience. It looks pretty good, all the architectural sort of renderings that they've done. And I believe that they're still advertising for jobs. So if you get on down to the Johnnie Walker website, they're looking for mixologists. That's a wanky term if I've ever heard one. Entertainers, tour guides.
And where is the Johnnie Walker experience based?
Edinburgh.
Princes
Street.
Okay, cool. You got a particular year you want to have a look at?
Just go the most recent one we got.
$2019 it is. And
there'll be a blend section. It's closer to the back, I believe. Scottish malts, Scottish grains, unspecified single grain. Interesting.
There is some single grain. Well, there is an element of grain whiskey in both this and the Johnnie Walker Black Label. Cheap fuckers.
Scottish blends 187. Actually, we've been through this before.
No doubt.
Because I said homicide. It's the police code for homicide in the
States.
There you go. Scottish blends. Maybe we should give it some numbers first.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And I'm going to shoot from the hip and say a 4.2, and that's probably being generous. I could go as low as a 3.8 on this.
Well, I'm giving it a 3.3.
Yeah.
There is just nothing to recommend this whiskey. No. Nothing to recommend at all. Not even price point. You will get way better whiskies at the price point.
I'm not sure he's even going down this road. No, here we go.
No, beauty.
Get the fuck out of town. I'll read his comments first. Double tops. Rolling along the taste buds like distant thunder, this is a welcome and impressive addition to the Johnnie Walker stable.
What the fuck?
Perhaps not as complete and rounded as the original Johnnie Walker Black, but then, what is?
Fuck me.
94.5.
What? He's fucking paid by Diageo, surely.
Yeah.
How the fuck can he rate that anything above 60?
So nose, I would say the nose was probably the best thing about it. It did have the most curiosity to it. So nose, 23 out of 25. Taste, or palate, 23.5 out of 25. Finish, 24. Get fuck out. The finish was garbage.
It was.
Like I said, it was like swallowing fucking Lego.
The whiskey is garbage. I'm sorry.
It was like swallowing a charred piece of Lego. And balance, 24. No, I'm sorry, mate. You're off your tree this time.
How can you give the Ben Romac... listen to the Christmas episode, kids. It's a good episode. How can you give the Ben Romac 15, 70 odd, and give this 94? That's fucking outrageous. That is... I am fucking outraged.
I'm incensed.
Fuck. No. I'm sorry, Rev, but that's utter fucking garbage. And you are clearly just scared of Diageo. Fuck. It gets a 3-3 for me, and I stand by it. This is not worth your money.
Yeah,
it is just not worth your
money.
money.
3.8.
There's way better things to spend your money on.
Spend your $50 on. I think you can get Glen Grant for 55. Go out and beg for an extra $5 on the street and get yourself a Glen Grant 10-year-old.
I mean, fuck, at the end of the day, what's $10? Go and get yourself a fucking bottle of Glenfiddich 12. Best whiskey for the price point. Rick fucking talked me into it. Well, he didn't talk me into it. He fucking showed me that it...
I led you to water. The horse drank.
I drank. You know, I will always drink. But this is a dram I would legitimately say no to. Yeah. If someone said, I've got Johnnie Walker Double Black, I go, no, thank you, I'll go without.
Yeah, I'm going to eat grass.
Yeah, I'll go without. Well, we've done our best, buddy.
Yeah. And I'm going to finish it out of spite.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I never leave whiskey in the grass. I never leave whiskey in the grass. Why would you leave whiskey in the grass? You just wouldn't.
No.
But I don't leave whiskey in the glass either, so we will finish it. But, look, at the end of the day, feel free to jump on livingthedram.com.au. Tell us what you think, because you may disagree with us like we disagree with the Rev, and that's okay. We'll chat to you. We'll fucking listen, and then we'll tell you why you're wrong.
Feels like the roof of my mouth is coated with menthol on the finish.
I'm just really glad it's almost done.
Although that water, it needs water.
Big time.
It needs water.
Big time.
It does bring out... Okay, we're just trying to be a bit more objective here. Like, it does bring out... Objective? Subjective? What's this?
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty subjective.
Okay, it needs to be... Yeah, trying to be a bit more subjective here. The water brings out the sweetness, and it dampens the hate a fair bit. It really does. If you're gonna... If neat's your style, yeah, you're gonna have to add a few drops to it to get you'll get more pleasure out of it, I believe. Apart from that, man, I don't have too many nice things to say about it. The charcoals, it's kind of nice. I do like that kind of flavour. It's just the delivery method is appalling.
Yeah, I think they got this completely wrong, but that clearly sells. So it's clearly a popular whiskey. The best way I can sum it up is Johnnie Walker Double Black needs a shitload of Coke. Don't we all? Well, regardless, slancha my brother.
Slancha my brother.
Let's do it again.